Hello, everybody. Welcome to the McRADcast, and I'm here today with a longtime friend, Tanner, the man, Wade. Tanner, thanks for coming, buddy.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me out.
And Josh is here with us as well.
What's up, guys?
So Tanner, we wanted to get you on here and kick this thing off. I don't know. I'm not going to talk too much about this in future episodes. Because I don't know in what order we're going to release things. Because we're going to kind of get a few going before we actually do. But you're definitely in the first batch, so possibly guest number one. So,
I'll accept it.
Yeah, man. So Tanner, known him for a long time. Josh has known him for way longer than I have. And Tanner is he's a chef. He is a lover of bourbon, such as myself. So I think we'll have quite a bit to talk about today. And we are enjoying some bourbon right now. What are you having over there?
I've got myself poured up some Buffalo Trace.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably, as far as price range goes, it's probably my go-to bourbon. Between that and Basil Hayden's price range, and then just, I don't know, it's my flavors. I like your vanilla and your kind of caramel sweet notes on those. So that's usually what I try to pick whenever I go to the liquor store or anything.
Rock and roll.
Take his advice, people. He's bougie about his bourbons.
I am extremely bougie about all of my food and all of my drinks.
Yeah, and well, you're like a creator of the food, so that makes sense. I'm having some Blanton's, which I'm pretty sure I've had, but I don't know that I have. But it's really good. It's really tasty. I'm the same, I think, when it comes to flavor profiles. I like the sweet stuff.
Yeah,
I like the, and I think there's some. I don't know. There's something going on in here that I like.
You're probably getting more vanilla, caramel, and that's usually where I kind of stick to as well. I'm not opposed to any bourbon. I've just kind of shy away from your pepper and cinnamon notes, and I mean, I've had some that I really like. I think Elmer T. Lee's one that's kind of heavy on the cinnamon, but as far as just drinkability, I'm kind of stick to the sweeter. I know I've got some Maker's Rare Cask over here, but it's not as sweet to me as just regular Maker's. It's almost too sweet for me.
Right on. And Josh, what are you having over there?
I don't know, Tanner. What'd you pour me?
You have Basil Hayden's,
all right.
Which is actually going to be the lowest proof out of all the ones I have here today.
And he did that on purpose because I don't drink often.
Oh, well, you say that like I don't either really anymore. Like I don't get down like that. So yeah,
we're getting older.
Absolutely.
Quit working at a bar. They'll do that to you.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun working in bars, but I'm glad I kind of don't anymore. I just because I never worked at like restaurants that had bars where like those people got off at like 10 or 11 at night, and I always worked for like local bars that closed at like 3 a.m.
And then you're still there till 5 or 6 in the morning.
Yeah,
partying.
Yeah. Not at the end, but there was definitely some of those early on. But yeah, even just closing and going home, like you had to clean up and do all your stuff. But the money was good bartending. It's just getting tired of sleeping. I didn't get up till like 1 in the afternoon every day, and I'm not a fan of that really. So yeah, man. So Tanner, I wanted to talk about this because I feel bad. There's a lot of people that I've known for a long time that I just consider friends, but when I really, really think about it, I'm like, I don't remember the moment we met.
Yeah.
But I remember like the time frame, right? So, and it had to, I know it was when I was living over at the Hermitage there.
Yeah.
The apartment complex over there. And I can remember even back then you were expressing interest in cooking and things. Cause I think we might have bought some stuff one time and you made us dinner or something.
I'm pretty sure that I cooked over at the house. But no, that was, I was probably 16 at the time whenever I was going over.
Oh, yeah.
So, but yeah, I think I was cooking then, and then it was right around whenever I was kind of finishing up high school, and I'd already, signed up for culinary school, and it was just one of those where, it's, I don't know. I always just like to cook for all my friends and everything, and it was just always nice to kind of get their opinion on everything and just actually see if I could turn this into a career. So, and here I am.
Yeah. So how long have you been doing it? From, obviously before you went to school, you were Oh yeah, just
I mean,
as a hobby or whatever.
My first job was working at Outback Steakhouse. 16-year-old. I was a busser, and funny enough, I got in trouble for hanging out in the kitchen, just kind of on the line. And one of the managers was just like, "Hey, if you keep hanging out there, we're just going to put you on there." And I was just like, "Do it.
Right
What's
on.
up then?" And sure enough, I started working on their salad station and realized that I wasn't ready. I got my ass kicked so hard and got put in the weeds so damn bad. But you kind of learn, and I mean, it was a great experience. It's completely different in the corporate world compared to where I'm at now. But the corporate restaurant style is just something that I think you should be working in or have worked in at least once if you kind of took on this kind of career. I mean, it builds you some character for sure, and then kind of gets you your speed that you need to work in that field.
I actually think that it should almost be mandatory. I know you can't do this, obviously, because, America and all that. But I think everyone should work in the service industry in some capacity, like before the age of 20.
For sure.
Restaurant, retail, something, just to kind of get a better understanding of it and just know what goes into doing it, because I think some people would be probably more respectful towards those people and
Definitely.
things. But yeah, man, I worked at that was like one of my first jobs was Western Sizzlin' in South Jackson, and I started washing dishes there, and I remember working my way up to grill cook and being like, I made it. You know what I mean? Yeah, cooking sirloin tips, for the masses, and I had a lot of fun in that job too, man. We get like cut up and stuff, and I think that's like there's this like whole like culture of like restaurant workers, you know what I mean? Like
for sure, because I mean, at the time whenever I was working at Outback, it was probably some people that were bad influences on me for sure, but I mean, we had Mulligan's right across the street, so it's like everybody get off work and then just walk right over there, and I'm like 16, paranoid, and and one of the servers just comes up, hands me a drink, I'm like, all right, let's get this going. So
yeah, man, like I don't know, there's just this thing about it, and it's cool too to see that, and you got it going on too, but like you see a lot of chefs, and I don't think this is necessarily a modern thing, even though it's probably more so now, but you see a lot of chefs that are like kind of like tattooed up, and they have that whole kind of aesthetic going, whereas I think from a long time ago, if I thought chef, I just like immediately think like the stereotypical like French chef from like a cartoon with the big hat on, and like they're like Sacre Bleu or whatever,
big hat throwing pots and pans.
Yeah,
we had that guy in culinary school. So.
Right on. So you started doing that. You were like working like a lot of people just started working in a restaurant. You found out you really liked it. You cooked for some of us back in the day. What was the step like? You went to culinary school?
Yeah, so I mean, immediately after high school, I went ahead and enrolled in school, and I started in September of 2004. And there's different schools and different levels on things that you can do. So what I went to was actually you got a Associates of Science in Culinary Arts. I don't necessarily think that that's needed, but they kind of use it as, hey, you have a better opportunity to get a job if you have an associate's degree. I'm glad that I did it now compared to just having a diploma like certain culinary schools have, but I don't necessarily know that I learned any more about cooking or anything than going to either of those other schools. But with what you did, would that be considered like the top end of like culinary school to get like a degree in doing it? Or I think so, but like I said, I think anybody that went to, I can't even think, but maybe like Johnson and Wales, I don't think that they do like an actual, because I actually had to take college courses as well. I think that those schools actually just teach nothing but culinary, so it's just a diploma that you get. You don't actually get taking English 2 classes and things like that. But like I said, I don't think that I learned any less or they learned any more by going to a school where I got a degree or anything. I think, it's really all about your teachers and just how much you kind of focused, because whenever I enrolled in culinary school, there was a huge boom of what, to me, like just seeing on Food Network, and it was just like everybody started kind of getting into this whole, hey, I want to cook. I'm like, hey, that's great. But man, you would just have to see some of these students that were up here that didn't know what the hell they were doing, and it was just like, my parents have the money to send me up here, and I'm just going to do it. You know, like I watched Bobby Flay, and now I've got a passion for cooking.
Right.
Like, that's great. Cooking in your backyard.
I watched Adam Richman and just wanted to eat.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to keep eating the food and not. And speaking of which, did that guy die or something? What's he doing? Adam Richman. Did he have like? Because I remember seeing him eat all that stuff and being like, he has to have like.
Was that the Man versus Food guy?
Yeah. I just feel like
he
that
lost
dude
a ton of weight. Like he was on that show, and I don't know if it just did a toll on him, but I'm pretty sure he's hosting something else now. And he lost a ton of weight.
Well, I always thought about that because I loved watching his show, but then I was like, man, that dude has got to have some like colon issues or something. You know, like something's going on with him.
It's the dream job traveling. I mean, you get to travel all over the place and just try everybody's best food.
Dude,
I mean, that sounds.
There's a few people that I was jealous of. He was one of them. The ultimate one, though, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember the show Insomniac with Dave Attell? Was it Insomniac? Dave Attell. He just went around, and he's a comedian.
Yeah.
He's one of the funniest people alive. And it was just him going and like drinking and eating. Like
I may have seen it. I don't really.
It was a great show. If you can find like clips of it, it's hilarious because it's him being hilarious, but he just goes to these like, you know, all over the damn world, just drinking and eating and like making everybody laugh. And I was like, dude, like I feel like
dream job.
I feel like I could probably do that. I was like, where do you put your resume in?
Yeah,
like
where do you apply?
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, did you find something straight out of culinary school? Was it like immediate for you, or did you have to kind of work through some things? Or
so, well, the way school was set up for me, like I said, it was a 2-year plan, but you could actually finish it whenever you wanted. I did not take any breaks from school just because I was worried about that if I would have taken like a semester off and I would have come back to Jackson, because I went to school in Louisville, so you're already looking at a 4.5-5 hour trip. So I just assumed that if I were to take a semester off and just come back home for 3 or 4 months, I wouldn't have wanted to go back. So I ended up just taking my breaks whenever, holiday breaks and things like that. We'd be off 2 to 3 weeks, at a time or whatever. So I would take those, but I just stayed in school. And I ended up actually finishing, it was 1 year and 9 months, I believe, is what I finished it in. And I was just glad because I think if I would have taken the time off, I probably would have just fucked off and not gone back.
Right on.
But the school I went to, Sullivan, they have a placement program where they have like a 98% placement for anybody who's graduated. They will help find you a job. So
that's impressive.
I can even use that to right now. So my current job, if I were to be let go or I wanted to test my luck and move somewhere else, they would actually help me find a job there. Now, it might not be the best one,
sure,
but like I said, they're going to work with corporate restaurants. They're going to work with, country clubs, whatever, to kind of put me wherever. But whenever I finished school, I did finally take a summer off. I took 3 months off and I was like, I don't have to pay anything. I've got enough money saved up that I can pay all my bills. It probably helped that I got to move back in with my parents and live there rent free for the time being. Mm-hmm. But I just took time off because I really hadn't had that long of a break beforehand. Not to mention I was in school plus working full time. So I was just kind of ready for a break. But moved back to Jackson, and I kind of applied for all of what I thought were the better places. I thought I was going to get out of culinary school and become a chef, and that's just not how it works. It's
right
not
on.
like that at all. So I applied for the only 2 places I thought of were the Country Club and Madison's, and didn't get on at either of those places. And then it just became crunch time, and I just needed a job. So I ended up having to work at Olive Garden, and that place will steal your soul.
Man, so there was somebody talking about the other day, and I hate to be like an elitist about certain things, but and food is definitely not always one of those things because I'll eat some trash. Like I don't, look at me, Jesus. But I don't. But when it comes to Italian food, I had an aunt who married an Italian guy, and his mom, I guess, taught her like how to cook. And she was like straight up, like off the boat Italian.
Yeah. And
so I grew up eating like really, really good Italian food. So I remember the first time I went to an Olive Garden and I was like, what is this shit? And people were like, man, it's
endless pasta bowls, and salad and breadsticks.
And it was terrible.
Yeah.
And the other day, somebody posted something on Facebook about how the spaghetti store is so much better than Olive Garden, and I'm like, well, you might not. You're probably not wrong when you say that statement,
But you're obviously not right, or also not right.
yeah, it's still pretty bad Italian food. And so,
Fazoli's is on that same
hey,
level.
I fucks with Fazoli's.
I do not. I have not been there in years. I didn't know it was still open.
I got a story about
Are they not
Fazoli's.
bankrupt?
Man, I don't know. I didn't know they were still
Kids
open.
eat free on Tuesdays, I believe. That's what their sign has said for the last 10 years.
That's the last stretch of a business when kids eat free on any day or whatever. Yeah. So, I got a Fazoli story kind of. I used to work at Circuit City, which is in
Right
Jackson.
next door.
It was
Used
like
to
right
be.
there.
Yep.
In between the two was that little. There was like two little shops. And it used to be Lord's Gym. You remember that place? Mm-hmm. It's like the Christian gym place or whatever. Yep. And so one afternoon, I worked in the warehouse at Circuit City, and one afternoon, I was like, I'm gonna just walk to Fazoli's and get lunch, and I'll come back here and eat in the break room. So I start walking across the back parking lot of Lord's Gym and whatever the other little place is, and I look up, and like really high in the sky, was a blackbird, but he's like kind of like angling towards me, but he's like really far away. So I'm like, well, no big deal. And so I keep going across the parking lot, and I notice he's like locked in at this point. I'm like,
Wow.
Is this thing coming for me? I'm like, there's no way. And I'm still like skeptical because I'm like, it's still, and it did not veer from its path, and it like dive bombed the shit out of me. And it was big, man, and probably way bigger in my mind than it really was.
No, the blackbirds are for real big.
And it was like just fear. And like I was like, oh my god! And all I could do
from Almost Heroes.
was I cowered a little, obviously, because I'm like, what do you do to a bird? I don't even know what to do, and I just punched it. And I made
punched a bird?
I did. I made
in real life.
Yes.
You attacked a bird.
Well, it attacked me. I was different.
Brandon Lee jumped out of the sky and attacked you, and you attacked him back.
And I was like, I just punched. I don't even think I tried to punch it. I was just like, but I felt I made contact, and I thought it like fell or went away. And I was like, what in the hell was that all about? And I'm like frazzled or whatever. And I go to, I start just walking, and all of a sudden from behind me I hear, "Caca!" And it came back for a second round, and I'm just slapping or whatever. And I remember looking up, and everyone in Lord's Gym is like pointing and laughing. I'm like, oh, okay, the fat guy's getting killed by a blackbird, and all these muscle dudes are just making fun of me. I'm like, come help me.
Damn ostrich came out of nowhere.
Dude, it was insane. And then I finally get away from it, and I get into Fazoli's and order my food. And I was terrified to come back through. I come back around the front, and I'm looking, and I know like a crazy person. But yeah, anyway, Fazoli's, yeah, I think they're kids eat free on Tuesdays. But
Yeah, tie it all back.
I got attacked by a bird in a Fazoli's parking lot, or in a Lord's Gym parking lot, which isn't even a thing anymore.
There was a sign, bro. It was a sign.
Yeah, right. They were like, get out of this parking lot, heathen.
Either that or come on in and work out, you fat fuck.
That's it. That's what it was. That's a hell of a marketing scheme, dude.
They just
got
sick
attack birds
on you.
That's why they're not open anymore, because people found out about their plan.
They're like, I wonder what they're doing now. They probably militarized it or something.
Yeah, it's not falconry. It's like crowery.
Is it still falconry? Because I think it's like they call it that, but it can be like other birds.
Oh, okay.
I remember
that's bullshit.
I remember when I was a kid and it was like falconry, but it was an eagle, and I was like, oof, I don't know how to feel about this,
Yeah, that's not right.
Anyway, so and I think getting back to our point away from the bird attack stories, in all fairness, not, and this isn't me like trying to diss the town I'm from, but Jackson not really known for the fine dining. I mean, for the most part,
No, I guess you could say Flatiron. But
I do like that place. Okay, I've never been to Flatiron. I've been to what's the bistro behind it? It's like a number.
7-Eleven.
The 7-Eleven bistro.
Yeah,
Bistro 4711
Yeah.
or something. Something like that.
The 7-Eleven bistro.
What are you talking about? I've never even heard
It's
of
the
it.
Italian restaurant that's in the same
Yeah,
building as Flatiron.
It's like around the back. Yeah,
Never in my life.
it's good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's Bistro something.
How
it
does
is
it
a
stay
number.
in business? It must be expensive.
I don't know, and that's my thing is I never see any advertising
I've lived here my whole life.
for
Well,
Flatiron.
it's not been there
or-
that long.
No, it just popped up in last year or two, something like that.
it's probably 2 years.
Yeah, it's still weird. I've been to Hobby Lobby. I don't know it exists.
It's around the back. You got to know, guy.
Yeah. All right.
It's the 7-Eleven bistro, bro. Not even.
That's cool.
The 7. I'm imagining like a really upscale 7-Eleven. Oh man. Anyway, so yeah, but there's still not like, I mean, there's not a fine dining scene really, you know.
No, I mean, I guess if you go downtown, Chandelier, that place is awesome. And I tried. I don't know if this is just me being stubborn, but I try to support as much local business in this town as possible.
Hey, me too, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There's a place for the corporate chains and all that, and I get it. It's fast casual, but there's a lot of people that are, I don't know. I don't know if they're afraid to try those places or they just think that it's too expensive, and it probably is a little more pricey. But at the same time, those businesses aren't getting the same cost that, you know, Outback and Chili's are getting, and all that stuff comes in, you know, bagged, frozen. You know, it's not made in house. It's made in a warehouse.
All off the same Cisco truck.
Yeah, you know.
I haven't been to Chandelier.
Sorry, I just found the name. It's Bistro 1160. So 7-Eleven was close.
Yeah, Bistro.
I wonder what the 1160.
1160.
Like
yeah, I don't know.
The address, maybe.
Probably. I don't know.
You guys should check it out though, because one thing I am. So I used to talk about shopping locally and buying locally more than I did.
Yeah.
Because I just didn't. I was lazy and I didn't like search things out. So I do want to check out Chandelier. You're like the third person who's told me about it and said it was really good. Somebody was even saying like they got really good cocktails and
we usually go for their brunch, and it's pretty solid. Like I said, it's going to be a little more expensive than any other place, but I mean, even as far as brunch goes, I mean, Perkins, IHOP, Denny's. I mean, you're not really getting much more than that style of restaurant around here. Yeah. Like I said, there's nothing wrong with those places. I think there's a time
Rock
for
and
all
Dough
those.
does one on Sundays, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about. I haven't been to it. But
I've been once and I was not impressed, but I was told that I just went on the wrong day.
I got you.
I've
always
heard from a
bunch
of trustworthy people that it's very good.
I've always had good experiences with their pizza and stuff there, though. So.
Yeah, I think it's a great restaurant. I think and that's another thing that we need to go over real quick is that we're going to do 3 types of podcasts, and this is going to be one of them, this general conversation with some friends of ours and that sort of thing. But another one, we want to start doing a local spotlight. So even on our general podcast, we're going to shout out as many local people as possible, as often as possible, and go to those places. You know, we know the proprietor of Outback. We're friends with him.
Yep.
It's a chain restaurant, but it's kind of run like a local restaurant.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a local guy who's running it.
Yeah,
you know?
and so, you know, and at the end of the day, all of the servers everywhere, even if they're at chain restaurants, are local.
That's true. Yeah. I don't know, man. It's weird to me that people people. This is kind of back to your point. People will be like, "Man, I'm going to Texas Roadhouse."
Yeah,
and it's like, it's the same. It's the same thing as like Cheddar's and Jack Daniel's chicken or whatever, and like it's just.
If we would support the local restaurant above the chain restaurant, you would have more local restaurants. Putting money back into our system here locally, which is more beneficial for everyone, and they're going to hire as many servers as the other restaurants are, no matter what type of restaurant is. So we definitely want local over chain.
Absolutely.
Every time.
So in the point, what I try to tell people is because they always say, well, it's expensive. I was like, well, yeah,
Spend a few more bucks, man.
But if you instead of going to Texas Roadhouse every 3 days or whatever, just go there, once a week or once every 2 weeks, and like, so I've been going to Grub's Grocery, and that place is dope, man. When it first opened, I'll be honest, I thought it was just like, oh, hipster,
hipster grocery store,
and it kind of is.
It is, let's be honest, but also
in a really good way though. Like it's because I didn't realize until I looked into it that it's not just a local grocery store, that they also source as much as they can locally.
A lot of their produce actually comes from the same farmers who set up at the farmers market on Saturday.
That's awesome.
So,
I had no idea.
And I've been getting my steaks and ground beef and my eggs there, and it's all from a local farm. And I think it's like around Humboldt area. I'm not sure.
I think at one time they were getting Marmalou Farms.
That's it. Yeah, that's who it is. Yeah.
Man, that place. Their pork chops are amazing.
Yeah, I've been getting the New York strips and the ground beef, and it's fantastic, man. The eggs are great. Yeah.
And they'll actually do a delivery service for you now. You can get on their website, and they deliver to Jackson. It's like every Wednesday or something like that. But you can get online and purchase all
the farm itself or Grubs.
No, from Marmalou.
Oh, that's awesome.
You can purchase their meat, eggs, whatever, and as long as like you have a cooler set up at your front door, they will deliver it and they'll just leave it at your front door.
That's awesome.
It all comes in frozen, but it's all grass-fed meat. It's local meat, but
it's probably a little pricier.
It's definitely going to be on the
Well,
more
hold on.
pricier.
I don't know that it is because I get, and I don't know if they have a deal with Grubs or something, but I get my steaks at Grubs cheaper than I get them at Kroger.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. They're usually not as big a cut, but I mean,
we should probably eat a little less to begin.
Quit being a fatty, you know?
Yeah, but with Marmalou, I mean, they've got pigs, they've got, and I think I even was mentioning with my brother, we were talking about possibly getting they'll sell you a whole cow or a half cow or a half pig or something like that.
I've been interested in that lately.
So, man, deep freeze some stuff. Yeah.
But
that's really cool. I didn't know that. But yeah, if you're listening, check them out. Marmalou Farm. I think it's Marmilu. I think is what it is. Correct. Check them out. And Grubs sells their stuff. And Grubs also, like you said, they get all their local, not all everything in there is local,
as local as possible,
as much as possible. And that's I think that's just a really cool thing.
That's a cool concept to begin with.
It absolutely is.
We as the civilians of the area in which they serve should go there if we can. If at all possible.
Yeah, so sometimes you got to forego a little bit of convenience and a little bit of
your money.
Yeah, but we could speak on this too, and I know you can through doing some things you've done in the past that we've been a part of a local business, and man, like
it's hard.
It's very hard, and you don't fully understand all the expenses until you're in that, and you're going like, oh yeah, this
and
thing.
And the internet is the doom bringer of local business. So I think we all need to, I mean, listen, I've got an Amazon Prime account like everybody else, so I'm being a hypocrite when I say this, but we need to support local as much as possible because it literally, when you pay for something on Amazon gets the money.
Yep.
When you pay for something locally, you pay $4 or $5 more for it. You got to go get it yourself, but it stays right here.
Dude, when
those dollars stay here.
When we were running the game shop,
yeah, it's outrageous.
I bought every board game through us, and we did not give ourselves a discount.
Nope.
We bought it at retail price. And some of those board games I could literally get for almost 40% cheaper on Amazon.
On Amazon, absolutely.
And you see that and go, man, I could save some money. But for me, it was, I really enjoyed hanging out there as much as I did, like, running the place.
Yeah.
And so it was just, I always hated when someone would bring something in and talk about how much cheaper they got it from somewhere else.
Oh, it drove me insane.
And it was like, dude.
We did that because we knew it was going to fail when we bought it, most likely, right? It was like a really good chance. I'll go back to the meeting we had when we decided we were going to buy it from Adam, and I opened my pitch to a bunch of people with, you're going to invest money and you're never going to get any of it back. This is all literally to lose money. And if you're here to make money, get out of here. Because we're trying to save a play place for adults. You're right? And adult nerds have a place to go and hang out and play games. And it was an awesome experience for the year that we had it. And I really, really enjoyed it. But we knew from the beginning it was likely to fail because of the internet, most likely. And there was a large competitor in town.
Yep.
That was, we just had disagreements with how they ran their business. And we decided to run ours way differently.
Well, that's what scares the hell out of me, because I would love to eventually open my own restaurant. I've thought of so many different ideas that I could possibly open up that I think would work well here, but it just scares me to death. Because I don't. You have to have the people around here to support it, and I think that there's so many just chain restaurants here, and I just think that people are either afraid or, like I said, they don't want to spend just that little bit of extra money just to go to something that's local. And I don't know, I guess if you make a good product, I mean, there's plenty of local restaurants in town, but like I'll go to like, say, Picasso's, and it's a very nice restaurant. Their pizzas are really good. I think their bar area is really nice as well.
It is, yeah.
But at the same time, it's still pizza. It's a very cheap product to make, so I think that's why they can, those places are surviving like that.
Tanner, I'm going to interrupt you real quick. Is this okay for me? I'm new at this microphone thing. Is this an acceptable thing for me to drink? This Maker's Mark thing?
I have all these bottles here, so you can tear into all of them.
I'm trying the Weller.
The William LaRue Weller.
Billy LaRue, man.
Oh, Billy LaRue. That is a damn good bourbon.
I'm having the Maker's Mark Cask Strength Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. I don't know what that means. I'm retarded.
Maker's
We shouldn't say that word, right?
Oh, yeah, we can say it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Sorry or whatever. We're going to say retarded. That's going to happen.
McCaskill definitely has the better choice.
Yeah, I noticed on the label there, 116, I believe, was the proof on this.
It's a little. Josh, check out that cask strength. What's the proof on it? Because it's up there just as much.
It tastes pretty stout. Yep. 55.7% alcohol.
That's 110.
Yeah, 111.4
111,
proof.
That William LaRue is so good.
Oh, wow.
And I was very fortunate to find that bottle.
How hard are they to find? I know you were talking to me when you got it, and you said it was really difficult to
Oh,
find.
I bet if... How many liquor stores do we have in town? 5 or 6?
Yeah, it gotta be 5 or 6 at least.
I bet maybe 2 of them maybe saw that bottle if they requested it, but if they didn't, I bet there was not another one of those bottles in Jackson.
He's got the fancy stuff, y'all.
If you just get online and Google, just like, do you have your computer? Just Google how much that William LaRue Weller is. You could probably find it in Nashville at some liquor store or something like that.
Oh, wow. That's really good,
It's
man.
so good.
It's Billy LaRue Weller, right?
Bill S. William S. Esquire.
So, for those listening, there is a hellacious bourbon selection on my table here. Probably better bourbon selection than any bar around, to be honest.
It is the 2019 World Whiskey of the Year.
Oh, damn. We're drinking that world champion. We're just drinking world champion bourbon over here, guys. No, it's no big deal. Tanner brought the heat. I like it. That stuff is, it's something. Yeah. For those listening, man, the William LaRue Weller, if you can get...
Is there a year on that bottle?
It doesn't have a year. I want to say it's the 2018, though.
And it's like looking in a Beckett. It's like looking up a baseball card.
No, it's legit. Like it's weird.
Yeah, it's either the 2018 or the 2019.
They're like, what model is it? Like, it's whiskey. I don't know.
You guys keep talking. I'll inform you when I figure it out.
No, but just whenever you get a minute,
Jesus. Okay.
try to find on the Googles or wherever, and just you can actually, I guess certain states will let you purchase alcohol online, and
Yeah.
Tennessee was letting us do that with beer at one time. I don't know if they're still letting us have that shipped in or not. I can't remember if they dropped that or not.
I don't know if this has anything to do with anything, but I know that in the state of Tennessee, a liquor license is a state thing, and a beer license is a local thing.
Yeah.
And obviously, I guess, are there still any dry counties? And is the Jack Daniels County still?
Oh yeah, there's still a lot of
it's
dry
yeah,
counties
it's still
in Tennessee.
dry.
Wherever that's at.
It's too many. Let's be honest.
Lynchburg, Lynchville.
Lynchburg, Virginia, right?
No,
What? Is it Tennessee whiskey? Is that what they call it?
Lynchville, Lynchtown. What is it?
It's Lynchburg.
It is Lynchburg?
Pretty sure.
How did I forget that?
Lynchtown.
I don't know. Jesus, man.
That's some racist shit.
Well, Lynchburg, I mean, like, Lynchburg is any better?
All right, bro. It just sounds better than Lynchtown to me. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's the actual name of the
Yeah,
city.
it's because it's real.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus. I mean, it's Tennessee. We have the, I don't even know if it's still there, but we have the, on I-40, the Nathan Bedford Forest State Park.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus Christ. Like, that's a thing in Tennessee, everybody. You can go to the state park there. Oh, my God.
Bring your kids.
Yeah, what the hell? How are we living? So, yeah, we got a lot of bourbon here, and it's some good stuff, man. Tanner knows what's up.
Oh, yeah. Wait, listen, some personal information about me. I'm divorced. When I got divorced, Tanner graciously took me in for a few months. And we've been friends for a very long time. And so, if there's one thing in this life I got right, I didn't do a lot of adventures. I didn't do a lot of adventuring. I just gathered a lot of really cool friends. Whereas most people, they got one or two cool friends. I got 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 or 10. Tanner's one of my absolute closest friends of all time. And when I got a divorce, I had to move in with him because it was the only place I had to go. I learned all about beers and bourbons when I was there for the most part. I'm still basically dumb about it, but man,
you're welcome.
Well, what's cool to me is
it was like a full-on culture shock course for me. I'm a poor kid, grew up poor, and so his fancy ass took me into the fancy ass world.
Well, I know it interests me a lot, beer and bourbon, alcohol in general. Just the because I mean, it's like anything else. Like it's a cultural thing. It's it's regional to certain, and if I'm not mistaken, unless there's something newer that's been invented or come out since bourbon is it the only native spirit to the United States?
I believe. I mean, there are some now that are obviously made here, but yeah, I'm pretty sure. I mean, it had to. I mean, be a part of something Scottish or something, Scotch or something like that.
Well, I'm saying, but the actual bourbon itself is an American spirit.
I don't know the complete
obviously
rules on it or whatever, but it's got to be made in Kentucky and use limestone water.
Well, I don't think the Kentucky thing's a thing anymore. I think traditionalists will tell you that, but from what I've read, it's like it has to be a certain percentage of corn. It has to be single-use barrels.
Yep.
And it used to be a Kentucky thing. Now, people from Kentucky that are bourbon connoisseurs will probably say that.
Oh, yeah. You can't get bourbon in Colorado.
And if we're wrong, tell us about it.
Oh, boy. I've got a bit of an update. 2019 William LaRue Weller Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 128. Is that what we've got there, basically?
Are you talking about the proof on it?
Yeah. 116?
116. Give me a minute.
Yeah, it's 125.7.
Oh,
that
Jesus.
is a $900 to $1,200 bottle of bourbon.
I don't even feel like I'm fancy enough to drink this. Jesus Christ.
I'm really glad I avoided it at this point.
Wow.
I would feel way too guilty about that.
I definitely didn't pay that much for it.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, well, it's worth that much on this resale site that I've got here.
And from what I found, the closest thing that I saw was, I think Nashville or Memphis may have a bottle. Mm-hmm. But yeah, whenever the other bourbon we have over there, that George T. Stagg, that's a regular Stagg, not the junior. It's up there just the same. It's a $600, $900 bottle at liquor stores.
I feel like I'm gonna make a rap video after this.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Out on my front porch. I don't even really have a porch. Is that a porch? A stoop? It's a stoop.
It's whatever it is.
Well, there's gonna be a fucking rap video on it.
Goddamn right there.
So that's.
But even like going down the line, the Blantons, the one you had earlier, the production on that has it's not halted, but it's just getting so allocated right now. You used to be able to find that bottle in any liquor store for $30 to $40. They actually had a bottle at the store I went to today, and they had one bottle left, and they were selling it for $100.
Oh wow!
Yeah, it's very good.
I like it.
It's one of those kind of once in a blue moon kind of things for me. I mean, I'm not getting that thing and drinking it in a week's time or whatever, but that's why I stick to the Buffalo.
So what do you
Trace.
drink a lot of? Because I know you drink a lot of stuff.
No, actually, I've cut my drinking down a ton.
Okay.
This is the first time
this ain't an intervention. What are you doing over there?
I'm just giving him shit because he's my friend.
As always. But no, my go-to is probably going to be the Buffalo Trace because I bought a handle of that thing for $45. I mean,
it's efficiency.
It's a very good bourbon. It's probably going to start being allocated soon because of Joe Rogan's punk ass blasting it all over his podcast. And it's even my rep, whatever. I hope that it gets its name out there. It's a very good bourbon, and I'm glad that Joe Rogan enjoys it as well. But
heck yeah, man.
But no, I mean my vendor, whenever he comes in and tries to sell us product, he has a separate sheet of things like, hey, here's a request sheet on bottles that you can try to get. Well, and the companies now are because all this is, I believe, the Sazerac brand. The company now is coming out with vodkas and other things like that. And they're like, hey, we're not going to sell you these things unless you start buying our other product. And hey, whatever, I don't mind. I understand. I get it. But just to kind of plug another name, the guy who does Buffalo Trace has a vodka called Wheatley, and it's supposed to be their, I guess, challenge to Tito's.
Okay.
I as far as vodkas go, I think Tito's is very good. Mm-hmm. Grey Goose is good, but I think it's overrated to me.
I do too.
But
I'm not a huge vodka drinker. And I don't drink very much anymore at all. Like, period. But since I've been back on the low to no carb kick, Not this weekend. I ate like shit this weekend, but well, one day. But I've been just doing like vodka soda with like a little lime or something.
Yeah.
And I can't remember. There's some stuff that a buddy of mine brought over. I don't have it here. It probably is around $40 a fifth. And I don't know. I can't remember what it was called, but it's so smooth, man. Like a lot of even stuff that people say is like good vodka still has that like rubbing alcohol
taste.
And
Definitely attacks you.
I can't do that, man. It has to be like a smoother finish.
I tend to stay away from the clear liquor anyway. And even like I said, I was a huge beer snob. I don't drink as near as much beer now. I was huge into pale ales and IPAs, and now I can't stand IPAs for some reason. I don't know what's going on with my palate or what, but I feel like beer and bourbon are the only alcohols that I can drink where I can pull those notes out of things. I mean, obviously with wine, certain wines, they say, hey, you're going to pull cherry and currant and stuff like that. Yeah, you can pull that. But like you said, all vodkas almost are just kind of the same to me. You might be able to pull some like more earthy notes from Tito's and like Kettle One, maybe citrus or something. But for the most part, you can't. Whereas you could pour each one of these bourbons right here, and you're going to taste something different on each one.
Yeah, the Maker's Mark is wonderful. It's very sweet. It might be because I had a drink before this. But
well, Maker's tends to be sweeter anyway. So you're going to, I mean, it's loaded with that caramel and vanilla and
it's
all
delicious, by the way. Let's get to the, you brought some hot sauces with you?
Yeah.
You make your own?
Yeah. So I just started this last year. Being the foodie that I am, my wife and I, we always try to do somewhat of a small garden, and she's all about the flowers and stuff like that, for bees, and I completely understand. I don't want all the bees as possible because they help my produce come in, but
you aren't the bees dying or something? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
That's my bad, bros.
Yeah.
What?
He sprays pesticides and kills them. He's an asshole.
My day job is to spray
man.
chemicals, basically, and we may or may not have killed a bee or two.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Josh is killing the bees.
It's my fault.
Yeah, it's your fault whenever we run out of food.
Yeah.
But
solely Josh.
Twinkies, right? Isn't that what Tallahassee or whatever his name eats?
Yeah, Twinkies.
So garden.
Yeah, so last year I've always had I love spicy chilies. I'm not such a fan of bell peppers. I know how to cook them and eat them, but as far as just chilies, I love spicy food. I love the heat. So I've always started growing. Past few years, I've grown ghost peppers for sure, and then habaneros, jalapenos, serranos. Some of the weaker ones. But my uncle actually grows all kinds of peppers. I mean, white habaneros, Scotch bonnets, Carolina Reapers, and everything like that. So for a wedding gift, he gave me probably a 3 or 4 pound bag of just random peppers. So I decided to take those plus with the ones that I grew, and I mean, they're going to go bad if I don't use them. So I just decided to make hot sauces with them, and I put them in these bottles, and I brought you some. You're more than welcome to keep and see if you can stand
These are for
them.
me?
Yeah, those are for you.
Nice. Oh, this is cool. So, yeah, I've got a buddy he's going to be on the show in the near future, and I don't know if he grows peppers. I think he does, but he makes hot sauce as well. Shout out to Colby Brewer. He'll be on the show. I think we got him booked in a couple weeks. Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, he makes some hot sauce as well, and I think he does like variations on. I think he does kind of his signature thing.
Yeah,
and then he does T-shirts and stuff, and he does a lot of it for the custom knife making community, which is a pretty big thing that I was unaware of until I kind of hung out with him and talked to him, which I've known him forever, but he got really into it. And he makes like he'll do these drops where he'll be like limited runs of hot sauce and stuff, and I think that's kind of cool. Yeah, man, thank you. This is awesome. So we got Ghostberry hot sauce. This is
so I tried to put these in order. I guess it's going to be from your right going to left. So what you have in your hands now is the Ghostberry, which is probably, it's made with ghost peppers, but it's not that spicy. But it's a sauce that's made with blackberries and ghost peppers, but on some chicken or pork or something like that. We even put it on chicken wings, and it's really good.
It smells really great.
It's going to be a little bit sweeter. I did throw some brown sugar in there. But as far as like heat goes, it might creep up on you a little bit, but nothing too crazy.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
But yeah, the next one, kind of just all around hot sauce, I called that one my peener wiener. And
it definitely says that on the.
And it uses Peter peppers and jalapenos.
What's a Peter pepper? Picked a peck of, or
give it a Google.
Is this named after Peter Piper?
Yeah,
Peter.
Give a Peter pepper a Google, and that's why it's called a Peter pepper.
Oh, okay.
One time, speaking of Peter peppers, I had handled some hot peppers and did not wash my hands good.
Yeah.
And I went to take a wee-wee, as we call it.
Yep.
And it was bad. It was a bad day.
We had a guy that did that in culinary school. He was cutting habaneros, no gloves or anything, which, whatever, I get you. Washed his hands with cold, soapy water, went to go to the bathroom, took a piss, and came back, and then he was just shaking and scratching, and he just kind of ran out.
I see now. I see. All right. They look like straight up.
Oh, wow.
Circumcised penises.
They actually look like.
They look like they've been circumcised.
Are we sure that's not the Photoshop? Jesus.
That's just a penis that has been photoshopped to look more like a pepper.
Yeah, everyone go Google Peter peppers, and that's a thing.
Yeah, image search.
All right, so that's the Peter Wiener hot sauce.
Yep, that's your just kind of generic. It's good on everything.
Mm-hmm.
The next one you have right there is my pineapple ghost. So it's a.
This is Tanner's Angry Pineapple.
Yeah,
I like the pineapple lantern.
Yeah, I actually made all the labels and all that for those. So
yeah, that's awesome.
But that is a ghost pepper with pineapple, and it definitely has a little more heat than the blackberry one. We put that on wings. You can get about 5 in before you're like, okay, this is a little redundant. And then the last one you have there, I call it Ghost Reaper, and it's made with Carolina Reapers, which is the spiciest pepper, or the hottest pepper, I guess, in the world that I'm aware of at the moment, and also ghost peppers.
Oh, wow. So this is probably the...
Oh, that one's
This
bad.
is the heater, yeah.
Yeah.
This is that.
If you want to open it and go for it, you go right ahead.
No, as I've gotten older, it's weird. I've noticed this. I like spicy things, but I've noticed that if I'm not eating low carb, spicy wrecks me.
Gotcha.
If I'm eating, this is weird though, because I always associated it with the hot stuff, and the hot stuff definitely has a part in it.
Yeah.
But if I'm eating higher carb content, I get worse digestive stuff happening. Yeah. And I'm sure there's somebody out there like, yeah, no shit, it's because, and they know the reason. Yeah. And but just spicy with low carb, I'm usually pretty good. But I there's a point where I'm like, I can't,
Well, and with that one, it's always fun to just let somebody try it.
Yeah.
But
this is the I dare you to eat it hot sauce.
It's that, but it also does have and as far as the culinary field, it does have a use. Like I made up a pot of chili the other day, and I swear I put half a bottle of it in there, and it was spicy. It lit you up or whatever, but it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm going to die. This is so hot.
That's more of a cook with it, not add it after it's cooked thing.
If you tried it by itself, yes, it's very spicy.
Yeah, okay.
But, if you
put a couple drops in a whole pot of chili, it'll just spice it up.
Yeah, I put half a bottle. But like I said,
aggressive.
I love heat.
So I like, that's my thing about spicy food is like once it becomes... Like if it for me, if I can't enjoy the flavor of the food
and
with it, I can't deal with it. So, now that doesn't, but I still have a pretty decent threshold.
Yeah.
But I can tell you this: the first time I ever ate Thai food, their scale's a little different because they're gangsters apparently, and they can eat really spicy food. So for them, like a legit 5 or whatever, that's like my 10. Like it wrecked me. Indian food's the same way.
Yeah.
Like the higher you go, and like that middle of the road for me is like.
We've got a local Indian restaurant here too, Sizzler, and they're really good about knowing that a lot of white people are coming to eat there.
Right on. Right. Well, I was going to say you got to be careful because I've eaten at some places where their scale was like, oh,
yeah,
this is the white people scale or whatever, and. Like if you go to that authentic place though, like especially Thai was the one that kicked my ass, man.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, I got a 5 on the thing, and they even kind of like okay, and they brought it out, and it was almost unbearable. Yeah. So I'm like, who is coming in here and ordering 10, man?
Yeah.
Like
Thai people.
And some people, and there's probably a guy sitting right next to me, like just eating it, but.
No, but that Ghost Reaper sauce, like I said, put in chili or something like that, or I love like collard greens, turnip greens, or something like that. Something that you make a big batch of, that's got a kind of like a liquid base. I mean, any type of soup or whatever, but just you could either save it and do your own individual bowl, kind of test your own heat, or if you wanted to put it all together. But like I said, I enjoy spicy food, so I seriously loaded up half a bottle in a thing of chili that I did. So.
Now, is this something you're trying to make and actually kind of get out there, or is it just something you're doing on your own? Or so say if you want to give people a place to
Well, I mean,
try it or
it's kind of like
order
my
it, or-
soups that I did. I just made them for fun, and
Yeah.
it became one of those things whenever it's like, I post the food that I make online, and at one time I made this was years ago because that's how long I've been kind of running my soups or whatever. But I just made like a massive batch of soup, and then I put it in containers to freeze that I could just pull out throughout the year whenever I needed. And someone's just like, "Hey, you should start making that and sell it." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And the next thing you know, I put a little Facebook page together. I got a following together, and then on some of my soups, I was literally making like I would post like 2 soups a week or something like that. I was literally making like 40 gallons, 40 quarts, sorry, of both soups. I was like, all right, this is getting a little crazy. So, I don't know if the hot sauces would be something like that I would do. Maybe if I kind of had my own business or something like that, I could definitely see myself doing something, just any type of extra sales. I've had a ton of people ask me about doing meal prep and things like that for them. So
that sounds like a huge pain in the ass.
I honestly think the meal prep would be easier for me than making soups. There's so much work there's a lot of prep that has to go into the soup, but then once it's cooking, it's just doing its thing and then portion it and all that.
And by the way, for those listening, if he drops some soups and says he's going to do them, you should get a hold of him because everything I've had of yours has been fantastic.
Excellent.
I can't generally eat tomato soup because it fucks me up, like the acid. And you made a tomato bisque.
The smoked tomato bisque.
It was so smooth, man. It didn't give me the refluxes.
Well,
whatever.
it was
I don't have any diagnosed thing. I just know
that page is Soups by Tantan, right?
I think it's Soups by Tanner.
Soups by Tanner on Facebook. Yeah. And
but,
I know you're not
peddling.
You don't have anything right now, but
no.
But if you'll just be a fan of the page,
be on the
anytime he
lookout.
decides he wants to cook something,
you did one that was like a what was it? Cuban
black bean.
Man, it was so good, man.
That's funny because I've got someone asking me about making that soup for them now.
See, I did that more. I didn't cut mine much and ate mine more like a chili.
Yeah.
Like a thicker. Man, it was so good.
Yep.
Dude, I remember eating it, and then I immediately ate the rest of it the next day, and then I was like bummed that I had ate. Like, it's like that whole you can't have your cake and eat it too thing. And I was like, I want the... Oh, but
Try
it was so
living
good.
with him for 3 months.
So good.
It's super like shell shocking to move out when your roommate's a chef.
Yeah, no
like,
doubt.
You're like, oh, this is cool.
And I don't cook it near as much as what I just don't really have the time. I do work very long hours, and whenever I have my days off, I literally don't want to do anything, and I support DoorDash as much as possible.
Hell yeah, I did that today.
So
got the New Yorker from McAllister's.
Yeah, but I've done better the past few weeks. I've been trying to, on one of my days off, at least go to Kroger and whatever, make up enough stuff that will last us for a few days, and then
So question then, as a chef, as someone who knows, the process, kind of the science behind it even, and you're good at what you do, what's like that one like garbage, like fast food restaurant that people wouldn't think you like, but you love the fuck out of?
I'm a sucker for Taco Bell for some reason.
My dude, it's so bad,
but
is. Something about it is like when it hits your lips, man.
Man, and they got that
And then
new
it hits your
nacho
backside
party
shortly
pack right now. Have you gotten that thing?
Nope. I stick to the quesarito.
Dude, that thing's fire too.
I love quesadillas, and so then you get it in a burrito form, basically, and it's.
Although, gotta be honest, not a fan of the nacho fries. And mostly because when I've gotten them, they weren't like, I don't think they were cooked all the way through
Not
good.
crispy or something.
And it was like, they were just like this mush. And
See, I think Josh and I are indifferent about this. I love crispy fries, but I think you're more of kind of like a crinkle cut.
I like a soft fry.
Soft
I like
fry.
it. I'm with you on this one.
I want it crunchy.
I want
I
my
like a
hash
crunch.
browns undercooked. I want my.
I don't mind.
fries
I don't mind a little
soft.
I don't mind a little potato pillow in there.
Yeah.
But I want the crunch for sure. I'll need the crispy.
I'm not a crunchy guy. I like
So
soft.
like steak. What's that place? Steak and Shake.
Steak and shake.
With those teeny tiny fries?
Terrible service. But I love them little shoestring fries, man.
Oh man,
Look
that
at their-
place working at a bar was
Yeah.
drive through every night.
What's that? Frisco melt or something?
The Frisco
You know they're not
melt.
open 24 hours anymore?
No.
Really?
No.
It's rude. They close at like 11 or 12.
Who's
probably
eating there before midnight?
I don't know, bro.
Yeah.
That's like going to Crystal's.
Yeah, my
I think
hours.
they want to go out of business.
My hours of going to that place have always been like 2 a.m. to 7 a.m. So,
Oh yeah. It's like going to we
We
were
got a shake the other day.
we're at work one day,
Delicious.
and a guy at work comes up and he's like, "You guys want to go to lunch?" We're like, "Yeah, let's do this." We're like, "Where are we going?" He's like, "I was thinking Crystals," and I was like, "For lunch?"
Oh,
Do you want to not work anymore?
I was like, "Dude, like,
Listen,
No.
I'm all for a sack full.
yeah, if I'm
Only if
hammered
you're-
at 3 a.m,
Only if you're going home.
and you have nothing to do for the
me,
rest of the day or possibly tomorrow.
I've got to be slightly inebriated to even consider.
Really?
Oh yeah, dude.
I could definitely go for a sack full just about
that soggy bun.
Oh
and
man, it's fucking amazing.
I can't do that sober, man.
Steam it with the onions. That's beautiful.
What is it? One time we went by the.
You just shove the whole thing in your mouth.
Oh yeah, one time we went by the. I'm driving by the crystals there, and on the sign, I didn't know what this meant because it didn't. It gave zero information, except but it said tag team a steamer.
Oh,
and I went.
no.
I went. No, not what? Apparently, a steamer was 2 sackfuls. A steamer pack's 24-pack. Yeah.
Boom.
However,
the fattest of people.
yeah, I've heard other things called a steamer that I don't want to. Yep. We're not going to get into it.
Cleveland style.
One time, whenever I was living with Ian, we got a
name.
Yeah, dropping names.
Name drop.
Ian Insulaco. We got a
queer.
Yeah.
We actually like gay people a lot here. It's a term of endearment.
Yeah. We got, I believe it was like 2 steamer packs, and we did that. Who can eat more?
48.
Oh, it was the 2 of us and I think one other person, and Ian and I were just kind of going crystal for crystal, and we just kind of had this. All right, we're gonna do this. I'm not stopping unless you stop, kind of thing. Like, who can eat more?
When you said that, all I could think was that the song "Don't Stop Me Now" by Queen.
Stop
anyway,
but
can you guys were in the zone?
Oh man, I seriously think we ate like 15 to 16 of those things. It was so bad. Ooh. It was so bad. Ooh. Don't ever do that, ever.
I'm going to name drop now. Scott Norton, I love you if you're listening.
Oh, he's a wonderful human.
I lived with Scott in an apartment. And it was like, I had gone to bed. And that was back when I don't even know what I was doing for work, but it was back when we stayed up late all the time. Man, it was like 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'd laid down. I was watching TV in my room, and I hear him go downstairs. And I hear the door open. I'm like, what's going on? Like 30 minutes later, I hear the door, like he came back or whatever. And I just went to bed the next day. I was like, dude, where'd you go at 2 in the morning? What's going on? You guys partying? What are you doing? And he was like, no, and the way he told me this was, I still think about it, and it's hilarious. He goes, no, I wrote a movie called Scott Goes to Crystal. And I was like, oh yeah? He's like, and then about 20 minutes later, I wrote the sequel, Crystal's Revenge. And I was like, yeah, dude, you gotta be ready. Yeah. Like, you just have to accept that when you go to Crystal's, you're going
it's similar to Taco Bell.
Yeah.
It's the burger equivalent to Taco Bell.
One time I used to live with Scott Futrell. Scott, love
Scott
you.
Dose now.
Yeah, Scott Futrell. Yeah, 2 Scotts. I'm a fan. I'm in love with them. Scott Futrell, and we lived in a trailer park. It was fancy though. Calm down.
Yeah.
It was a mobile home.
Nothing wrong with trailer parks.
I'm trying to church up the
trailer park down by the river.
A mobile suburb. I don't know. Anyway, mobile home subdivision.
Yeah.
And we went to Taco Bell, but there was only 1 bathroom in that trailer, so somebody's losing. That day was me. Yeah.
There's a sink somewhere not happy.
So yeah, be careful with the Taco Bell, the Crystals.
Don't go to the trailer park suburbs and look for that sink.
The suburbs. Oh, it's terrible.
Suburbs trailer park. Scott, go back to Scott Norton. Didn't he go to culinary school or something? He's actually doing the whole chef thing now too.
Yeah,
right?
I need to actually get in contact with him, man. He's down in he's in Alabama, Birmingham, I think.
Yeah,
and
pretty nice town actually.
It is. It's weird because you think Alabama, you're gonna go down there and they're gonna
have
nice
crystals
place, though.
Yeah, they got a really nice crystals down there.
They got several.
No, they have this really like kind of hipster part of downtown where it's like these cool restaurants.
It's kind of like Oxford.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. And I don't know if there's a college or something
there is.
That feeds into that.
University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Oh, right on. There you go. UAB.
UAB Dragons.
Mm-hmm. How do you? Jesus, what are you doing? How do you know that?
I don't know, bro.
That's why we got Josh here, because he knows this shit. But yeah, man, I think he's still. I need to get in touch with him, man. I think he got married. Did he get married? At least got engaged or something.
Yeah.
I got to touch base with
It's crazy how you lose
friends,
touch with great friends.
I love, dude, Scott Norton is like, people used to think we were brothers because we were both fat with beards and glasses. And they were just like.
You do favor.
And Scott's not even fat anymore. You guys seen him?
I've seen a picture. I was weirded out. I thought he had cancer.
Yeah, no, he got tired of getting confused as my brother. He's like, I can't be. This can't happen. Yeah. So,
well, I think that I only
he did
see
the
him
weight
from
loss
like
thing and won.
Yeah, he did win that.
I only see him on Instagram and things like that. Just seeing him posting his cooking and things like that.
I don't ever see him that often, but somebody showed a picture. They were like amazed by how skinny Scott. I actually, Scott, if you're listening, bro, excellent job.
Traveling for work. Ended up in Birmingham and met up with him one night. This has been 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Met up with him and his lady, and at the place he worked, which was like a bar grill, but it was like a kind of a, I don't know how to, how
blacksmithy. Blacksmithy.
No, it wasn't quite on that level. It was like probably somewhere in between. I don't know if you would consider it like a gastropub or something. Yeah. But they had a really cool menu. Yeah. They had the basics, but then they had some fancy shit on there too, and it was really cool. It was nice to see him. Scott Norton, I love you, and I'll call you soon.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I will.
You're a fucking liar,
dude. I just put it in my phone to do it. Yeah.
You didn't. Oh, well. He's lying to you.
So going back to restaurants though, like I said, always trying to support local. Who do you guys do y'all have a kind of go to local restaurant?
I've got a little thing to say here about the Blacksmith. I love that place. I think it's amazing, and all I hear are complaints about it.
Yeah, I haven't been, so I don't know.
I've been a handful of times.
Everybody talks about how it takes too long and the food's not as great and it's too expensive. It's not that much more expensive than a standard chain restaurant.
I've never had an issue with them, and I guess the big thing is a large part of their menu is kind of burgers and things like that or whatever.
But they're fancy burgers.
Yeah, I mean they're kind of a more upscale burger. I mean, and they
put like blue cheese on them or something.
Pesto.
Oh
burger.
Shit! Okay, yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree. Anytime I've gone, I've never had an issue with the place.
And listen, it is a few more dollars per meal than your average chain restaurant.
People got to get over that, man.
Yeah, man. It's a cool experience. It's a cool place. They don't have a waiting area. That sucks because you come in and you're just awkwardly standing if there's a wait.
I'll just sit with somebody. I'm going to hang out with y'all.
It's definitely a weird ordeal.
Or go out on their patio because they have one of the best.
It's usually taken on the weekends.
You just go out there and stand.
Can you go to the bar maybe and hang out?
You can go to the bar, and they also have a stand-up little area like in the middle of the restaurant. It's kind of awkward, but you can definitely stand there.
Could you have like a breakdance competition in there? Like throw it on some cardboard?
Definitely. It's too
busy
every time
I could probably talk to J-Rod. He's the, I guess, proprietor.
I mean, just as you're waiting, you get bored, you're like, fucking represent.
Not enough room. It's always too busy. Yeah.
Okay.
You might hit somebody, and that's rude.
Mm-hmm. You don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
But every time I've been on the weekends only. But every time I've been, it's been very busy. I would go by. I try to go early because I'm old. And I like to skip the waits. And so 4:30, 5:30, somewhere in there. And if you go at 5:30, boy, it is a wait already.
Sure.
On a weekend.
I think that's cool though, man. I think that it's cool that they're getting the business.
It's a good problem to have. But the thing is like you're going back to like it might take a little bit longer to get your food or something like that. But unlike a corporate restaurant, they don't have one individual person cooking a burger, one individual person who's running food to your table. You have
to have a little bit more patience with these local businesses. Yes. And on top of that, it's really good. Like the food quality is really good.
I want to check it out. Yeah, I haven't been there yet, but
And their cocktails, they have specialty cocktails and stuff like that. Delicious, every single one.
We went that one time. Their Bloody Mary's damn good.
And if you haven't had the carrot cake, get them to heat it up for you for a few seconds, and it is literally. I don't like carrot cake.
Carrot cake's pretty good.
I love their carrot cake.
So local for me, I get to. We at work we get vendors come in and do their thing, and I'm giving a shout out here, but Joe Ross, you know Joe Ross, Boss and Ross.
I don't know him. I've seen him on Facebook and things like that. I know he's got the barbecue.
Yeah, dude. Let me tell you, man, that guy. So here's one of my biggest things with local businesses, and they miss the mark sometimes, and I'm not going to call anyone out. Consistency above quality.
Oh yeah.
To me, like you can be like subpar sometimes in the quality department as long as you're consistent with your output. And Joe Ross, and I think they have a food truck, Boston Ross is what it's called, and I don't know where they park or anything. I was ill prepared for this. I didn't know we were going to talk about it, but man, consistently they put out great food.
Look for them.
Yeah, brisket is really good. He does these smoked wings that are amazing. Like
I have yet to really find good brisket in Jackson. Like everybody chops it up. It needs to be slices.
Yeah, Joe does the slices. They're good, man.
You never had Reggie's?
I don't think I've had their brisket. If I have, I thought it was chopped.
They slice their brisket.
Do they?
It's pretty damn good.
Awesome.
I mean, it's a little bit more of a weight than usual at your standard fast foodie style restaurant like they are, but their brisket is pretty damn
I don't know. When I go to Reggie's, I'll kind of expect it to be a minute. You know, I don't.
No, it's a few more minutes than you would spend at any other fast food.
Because their wings are fire too.
Yeah, I enjoy it.
They got that like house like rub or whatever it's called, like the.
Speaking of wings, Saucy Jake's I think has the best wings in
Listen,
town.
I worked with that guy, Jacob Richmond, I believe is his name. I worked with Jake at Chili's. That was my first experience in the food service industry. I was a busboy at Chili's from the time I was 16 until I was 18. And Jake was he worked there, and as good a dude as there is in the world. And so if he didn't make amazing food, I would still go support him. And he also makes amazing food.
Yeah.
So we should go support him. So
Yeah, no, his food is legit
Jake's.
for sure.
Absolutely.
Where do they set up now?
They're at the crazy old Dairy Queen over by CVS and Walgreens over on Campbell.
That's right.
The old Steve-O's.
It's been a million different things over the years.
Steve-O's was pretty good.
But I go so
wings.
far back as I grew up in the area, and so it was a Dairy Queen for me.
It was. And there was it was something else there for a minute too. What was it?
It was a lot of different things for a while.
It was almost like wasn't it like a local type Dairy Queen place, like some kind of like ice cream joint or something?
And then it's been a bunch of different wing places since, basically. And I
think I'm older than you, but I think we grew up in the same area. Well, I was born in the same area.
Yeah, you grew up more in the south of Jackson.
Well, I was born in Westwood Gardens.
Yeah, and I grew up in Westwood Gardens.
In the trailer park suburbs.
Yeah,
well, I called it the white people projects because
it
was super weird because it was segregated. It was only white people and they were all poor. I was like, where are the black people here?
Yeah,
and I didn't really. Was
it duplexes or was it?
It was both. It was single and duplexes. It was a bunch of tiny little homes. And when you tell people there were 400 or 500 units in that place, they don't believe you. You can still drive through it now and it's all empty because they were all torn down. But you could. And everybody thinks I'm exaggerating that number.
Oh no, it's absolutely true. Yeah,
it's 400 to 500 units at least.
No,
right?
we moved. I was really young, and we ended up going to the Bemis area and all that. But yeah, Westwood Gardens represent.
Yeah, represent. Poor people.
Hey. It happens.
Tanner was never poor, let's be honest. His parents were not well-to-do, but much better off than our parents probably were. And,
I don't ever remember being.
I was always super jealous of Tanner when I was younger because he had a guitar and better magic cards than me, and all of those things. We actually met on the school bus.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. We met on the school bus. I was 12 and you were 11-ish,
something like that.
Yeah, and he had better magic cards than me, but I knew how to play the game.
So it's weird to even think that because I think in my mind it's like I feel like you guys have known each other that much longer, but if you were that old, like I met him 4 years later, 5 years later.
Yeah.
No, I was much older. No, not much. 20 probably.
Yeah.
How old are you guys? It doesn't matter. But I think I'm about 3 or 4 years older than you. And so when you think of it in that context, it's not. But still, that's from like age 12 to 16 is a like huge.
That's a developing.
Yeah.
For sure.
So,
yeah, we came up. Actually, I got the nickname the Dream Killer from a lot of my friends because I kill everyone's dreams. I'm too honest in a lot of ways. I don't allow them to flourish in their dreams.
What Josh means is he's a pessimist.
Yes. Yeah. I call it a realist. All right?
Of course you do.
Realist. Because I'm not pessimistic.
First things first, he's the realist.
Yes. And Tanner had these illusions of grandeur that he was going to be a model.
No. That is so incorrect.
He was going to be he went to modeling school.
No. I went to school for modeling and acting.
Oh, yeah. I'm listening.
Yeah, you hear me out. There's a difference here.
No.
God damn it.
Well, he had headshots for fuck's sake.
Yeah, you have to have those for acting.
And listen.
And I was beautiful.
He was a beautiful man.
You still are.
But he was not model beautiful, let's be honest. I love you for you.
Yes, I am.
But
okay, so while we're talking about this, because we're still going to make fun of him, because it's fun.
Yes, you are.
I think I have such a different outlook on that stuff. I guess at an early age, I just saw through the bullshit, like the unrealistic standard that all that shit brought forth.
Oh, yeah.
And I was always like, I think you're beautiful. I think you're more beautiful than model dudes.
Yeah, let's be honest. You're more real than model dudes.
Well, yeah. I didn't get
I'm saying you're more beautiful. Fuck what Josh is saying. He's trying to fucking still hurt your feelings, and I'm not.
But listen, you're not as pretty as models. I'm just saying. It's honesty. Honesty brought you to be. But listen, I'll take all the credit for this motherfucker becoming.
Josh's shitty beauty standards over here.
He became a chef because of me. Let's be honest. He would have tried to become a fucking model and then committed seppuku.
You're like, one thing I can say about Tanner's modeling abilities, he's a fantastic chef.
Yes.
So I just need to take more headshots with my chef whites on, right? Is that what we're getting at here?
Listen, everybody who's had a wonderful meal prepared by Tanner Wade can thank me at the end of the day. I'll take all of the credit because otherwise he'd be in L.A. homeless on Skid Row trying to be an actor.
Yeah.
That band wasn't
Then
so
you probably
bad,
would
right?
take some headshots. Just a different,
Yeah.
be a different scenario.
It'd be weirder.
So, so did you legitimately want to be a model or did you want to be an actor?
No.
I'll change the story.
Josh is full of shit.
He's driving a narrative here. So
I went for the whole acting purposes, and it was a school where you had to their courses you had to do modeling and acting. So your headshots were for your acting part of it because that's what you send into all the executives, the casting and all that. But
all I'm picturing right now, by the way, are glamour shots.
Oh,
that's exactly what they were.
With the starburst in the background and like that glow.
It was basically like that, but not that bad.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, they were definitely bad. It was a horrible idea.
Yeah.
But
I could see the shame develop in his face as I said, "Dude, this is not okay."
Yeah.
When I saw them the first time.
He's just like, oh.
But the funny thing about it is I did learn how to do runway.
Yep.
Yeah, I definitely did learn how to do runway.
This would be a perfect. See, this is why we got to get the ability to play stuff
because he could definitely runway walk.
Right said Fred right now.
Oh,
That's
Jesus
all I'm saying.
Christ.
Is that
So
Drop Dead Fred? Who was it?
We talked about that movie the other day. Weird ass movie.
Right said Fred.
Right said Fred.
I'm too sexy. Yeah.
So this was at the time when Josh was working at Chili's. This was all through high school that this was happening, and I think we were there maybe on some dates or something. And these girls, Josh was. Yeah, shut up.
Definitely wasn't me.
But Josh was probably a fifth wheel or something.
I was probably working.
Yeah, that may have been the case. I don't remember. Anyway.
Josh is such a dick.
Anyway, we were at Chili's, and I'm pretty sure whoever we were with was like, "You don't know how to do runway." I'm like, "Oh, yes, the hell I do." And they're like, "Well, if you know how to do it."
Okay, hold up. Before you go any further, hold on.
Yeah.
I love that we live in a world that this was even a conversation you were having. You don't know how to... Bitch, you know how to do runway, and you were like, mother, watch.
No, it was the whole
my shit.
It was the whole Tanner was trying to model thing that got brought up.
We might have made fun of him a lot. It.
Yeah, of course. How old were you guys?
I was probably 16 or 17. He was probably 14 or 15, 16, somewhere in that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
you're mean to your friends at that age. I'm still mean to my friends.
Yeah. This was a Thursday, Friday night Chili's primetime going on.
Ooh.
And
I was
whoever we were at the table with was like, "You don't know how to do it." I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I definitely do."
Like, were they like an expert at it?
I don't know. But they're like, "If you know how to do it right here." So I totally got up from the booth I was sitting at and did my runway walk all up and down Chili's aisles.
Did you get an applause?
You're goddamn right I did.
Yes.
It was pretty epic.
Jackson Chili's represent.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gone
Them
downhill
Dollaritas,
since then,
son.
let's be honest. It's gone downhill quite a bit.
A little bit. A little bit. Just a little bit. I used to know a lot of people that work there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, McCaskill and I lived together for a short period of time. And I actually quit Chili's while I worked there. I literally gave him like the double bird.
Yeah. That's awesome. It feels good, doesn't it?
On Valentine's of all nights.
Hell yeah.
Boy, that's
represent.
Aggressive. Yeah, it's an aggressive maneuver.
That's coming up, ain't it?
Yeah.
Next week or something?
Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Next Friday.
Well, we don't know when we're releasing this podcast, so it could be last Friday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, fuck y'all. We don't have to explain ourselves.
We're our own people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man, there's been a lot of good times with me and Tanner over the years. I've always been grateful for the friendship. I know I'm the asshole of the relationship. I'm the jerk.
But you're my asshole.
Aw, thanks, boo.
Wait, what? You're his asshole.
It do be like that sometimes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, he took me in when I was divorced, so that makes a huge difference in someone's life. That's a big milestone.
Absolutely.
I was really just trying to get with you so I could kick Danielle out of the house, but it didn't work. Now we're married.
Backfired totally. So you guys, I want to say recently, but it's been a minute. How long's it been since you guys got married?
We got married last September.
Yeah, did you guys like go to do the Vegas thing or something?
We totally did the Vegas thing.
Ran away to Vegas.
That's amazing, by the way.
Yeah,
and and I'm not joking. Like that is the coolest thing ever because I get so like bummed that everyone does the same wedding. Like everyone's just like, oh, and let's be real. It's mostly for the woman. Yeah. Like the whole, like the big, like.
Well, and the thing is
church and all the stuff and the thing. Like,
dudes
don't care about that.
She wanted this more than I did. And,
that's amazing.
And I was all for it. And we work in the industry anyway, so we deal with other people in their weddings and everything. So we're like, we don't want all this. We see what the headache of what people go through. We just want to go. We treated it as a vacation, and we're just like, hey, if it happens, it happens. We actually had set it up at the little white chapel and everything.
Yeah.
But
there's a story to go along with this.
The funniest thing. So yeah, I vape or whatever. So we decided
that's the best segue ever.
I vape, you know.
Do you even vape, bro?
It's like a humble brag. I vape.
Well, no, like I quit smoking. So.
I can confirm that Tanner does in fact vape.
Yeah,
he vapes.
I quit smoking the cigarettes.
Yeah,
so,
I did too 7 years ago.
So
he smokes douche fluids.
Come at me.
It's just a habit to constantly go from having this thing in my pocket, take it out, take a few hits, put it back in, in and out, in and out, in and out. Our first day in Vegas, we were walking down the old strip because we were just like, let's just walk around. We walked the brand new strip. That's your, all your massive hotels or whatever. So we went to the old strip area, and we were just walking down the street, and we're like, hey, we're right next to the chapel. Let's just go. Walking down the street to the chapel, went into the chapel, and we're like, hey, just checking in. Do we need to do anything? Is everything good? Like, oh, yeah, you're good. All you need to do is you just need to go to their courthouse, go ahead and get all your licensing and everything, and we'll be good. I'm like, oh, cool, no big deal. In September, it's 115 degrees in Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
But the heat is different, but it is still so damn hot.
I was gonna say I've been to Arizona in that area when people are like it's a dry heat. When it's 115 degrees, it doesn't matter. It sucks. Yeah.
What was crazy is like you didn't sweat. You didn't sweat at all.
Of course, yeah.
But every time I went to pee, it was like orange almost. Like I could not drink enough water. Yep. Like I don't see how people go to Vegas and party like they do, like drinking booze. Oh, yeah. I don't see how they can do it. Well, in that heat at least. But so anyway, we left the chapel and started walking to the courthouse. It was like a mile away. I was like, whatever, let's walk. I don't want to pay for an Uber. Get to the courthouse, open up my I guess I had been being carded so much that I decided not to put my ID back into my wallet. Well, somewhere along the lines, I guess my ID fell out of my pocket.
Oh no.
So we couldn't get our license or anything, and then it became, oh no, how am I going to get back to Tennessee?
Oh, because you got to get on the plane. Yeah.
I can't prove who I am or anything like that. So I lost my ID the first day we got to Vegas.
That's terrible.
Yeah. Luckily, a lot of places didn't really card you because I look older, I guess. Yeah. But we ended up having Whitney. She was watching the dogs for us at the house or whatever. But she first day mailed my old passport and one of my old driver's license, and they accepted it. And we had been telling people, hey, this whole thing is off, it's not going to happen, because people kind of got the idea of what was going on at the time. So everybody's like, oh no, it's not going to happen. And then the chapel is even like, hey, you can come back, your money that you paid for all this is good for a year's time. Well, we ended up getting my ID and everything, because the courthouse was like, hey, as long as it looked like you, we don't care. So we ended up getting everything. So it was like a Friday.
Not as long as it is you. As long as it looks like you.
They're like, basically, oh, if you still look the same and it looks like you, that's fine. I'm like, sure, great, whatever.
Yeah.
So we actually did end up getting married. The only fun thing was just trying to figure out if I was going to actually be able to fly home. And the only thing that happened was TSA just had to kind of pat me down and check more, which, Jesus, I love that.
I've never, you would think just by appearance alone. And I do fly semi-regularly because of work. I go to work, in Virginia, but not all the time. Twice a year, 3 times a year, whatever it is. Anyway, and out of all the times I've ever flown before, I've never had the random pat down.
No, the only reason they had to do it to me is because I did not have my ID. And it was funny because they will accept an old passport. My passport had been expired for, 10 years.
Oh, wow.
But they will take it for up to, it would, it's probably 12 years expired. They will take it to up to 11 years expired. Mm-hmm. It was literally a week after I had gotten it that it was expired. They're like, well, we can't accept this. I'm like, what the hell? So they just went through all my bags and everything, and then patted me down. All right, you're good. I'm like, all right, cool.
I've even gone through. Yeah, I've actually gone through security there with like people who did not like. And I don't think I look threatening or anything, but I just assume like big tattooed bearded guy.
Whatever. I've seen you knock people out,
and I've seen what? That's not true. And
McCaskill's very violent.
Jesus, man, I am not violent. I'm anti-violence. But yeah, I've never had the random thing. But I've even been in line where like an old lady, just like this really innocent looking old lady, got the like, ma'am, step over here, and I'm like, what? I was like, take me instead. Yeah, like like I was just like, what's going on here? I hate flying. By the way, flying is the worst. It's the worst.
Yeah, I've never flown. I'm so boring.
Nothing about it is fun. It's because when you see TV, you see those like big badass jets with like 3 rows and like there's plenty of room for everybody.
It's definitely not like that at all.
No, it's like
packed in.
It's like a Greyhound in the sky. Oh, it is the worst, man.
Whenever we got on the plane to come back, there was a dude that I swear had just got done working at a hog farm and hadn't bathed in like a week, and it was so bad that even the stewardess was walking down the row with like drinks and snacks, and like she hit the row right in front of us where that guy was, and just like gave us this like, what? Who just shit their pants look? And Daniel and I were both just like
that's just his natural setting.
Yeah. But we ended up having a delay, so half the people on the plane had to get off the plane, which was great because we're like, we're just going to go to the back of the plane. So we got up from our seats and moved just so we didn't have to be near this guy.
Gross.
Yeah, that's
I always try to book
a PSA. Bathe regularly.
Yeah, just bathe. Yeah. Put on deodorant even.
Yeah, at least once a month.
Yeah. Jeez.
Jesus Christ.
A couple times a year. Come on, do something. Jeez. No, man, I just don't like it. I don't like. Well, so I'm a fat guy, and like I always try to book a aisle seat because I'm only fucking with one person. Because if I'm in the middle, I'm ruining 2 people's day. Like it just is what it is. And I even apologize. I'm like, sorry, fatty coming in.
I'm sorry, I'm fat.
Yeah, I just I get it, man. Because they're not,
It's just more beautiful.
And the worst is when there's like 2 fatties and one, like you're like, well, here we go. Like
you're gonna battle for space.
Yeah, we're gonna stick together with sweat. That's true.
Who do you usually fly with? Who do you usually fly with?
I used to do Southwest because I like their system of like no assigned seat. It's just like
that's who
you just go. But also Delta sometimes. Yeah. But Southwest does this thing where it's like you just get in. Like the sooner you check in, the better like spot in line you get, and it's like Group A, and then you'll get like you're assigned like A1 through whatever, and you can sit wherever you want, as long as it's not like the. Actually, I don't even think they do business class or first class there.
No, they still do a business class. They don't have their first class is not really even anything to brag. It's like the first 2 rows is upon getting on the plane.
Yeah.
You know how there's normally 2 rows with 3 seats. Theirs are 2 rows with 2 seats.
Yeah.
But no, that's like they'll have 2 rows worth of first class, and then it's business class. But the business class is literally nothing more than you just get to get on the plane first.
Oh, okay.
You're still sitting in 3 lanes.
You're just like pre-Group A or whatever.
Yeah, the way it is if you buy your tickets, whoever gets the tickets earlier depends on if you're Group A, B, or C, and then
check in or whatever.
Yeah, and they'll let you do this thing where it's like priority something or whatever that you can kind of sign up for, and it's like an extra $40 per ticket, but it just means that you're possibly in Group A. So.
I think the money would be better spent on a fast pass at wherever you go.
Yeah, but I don't like flying. I don't like it. It's stupid, and I never will understand the deboarding of a plane. Like what is taking so long? Like, and I'm not talking about to like open the door, but because there's the etiquette of like everyone goes in order.
Yeah,
and there's always that one person who doesn't have their shit ready yet, and you're like, you knew it was your turn.
Yeah.
And now you're like, oh, let me get my things and let me put on my coat.
It's like somebody who's been in line for 18 hours at a fast food restaurant and then they don't know what they want when they get there.
Man.
It's
and
either
you just hear them bumbling at the speaker and you're like, would you go, please?
It's either that or you've got somebody behind you who their only carry-on is like a backpack or something, and they try to like run past you. It's like, what?
Yeah, I block them.
Yeah, it's like, bro,
I run interference on those people. I'm like, you're waiting. They're like, we're like, we all got a connection, man. Shut up, sit down. I don't care, fatty.
I don't care about your life.
Yeah, I don't. No, at that point, I'm like, we're all in this together.
McCaskill was so violent. That's why he was known to be like, I'm going to connect my fist to your face.
He's a violent human.
This is not true.
I'm going to connect my face to your fist if you don't get out of my way.
If anybody's listening to this, the first little bit, they probably know me, and they know that's not true.
Yeah, okay.
I'm sweetie.
Mm-hmm. Violent.
So what else? Yeah, man, I think we've had a good time. We got a lot of booze here. Jesus.
Yeah. I've been smashing these bourbons.
You have been. I'm impressed there.
I think you're on your third, and I'm still on my second.
Yeah, that's a little bit.
You need to figure it out.
Figured out.
I just hit the Basil Hayden. Is it Basil or Basil?
Depends on what.
How you talk. Yeah. When you're from Tennessee, it's Basil. Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden's.
Well, the reason I ask is that there's an artist. His name is Basil Gogos. Does these cool horror things, and I'm assuming it's like probably the same. Like they're probably from the same town or something.
Yeah, probably. Who gives a shit?
How many people are named Basil or Basil?
None of your business.
Jesus. Oh. And I'm the violent one. This is aggression over here.
I'm a nice human.
The sweetest.
So what else you got going on, Tam? What's going on in your life?
Well, I work a lot, so
Same.
I enjoy my few days that I get, to not really do anything. It's funny that we said we had all this bourbon and everything here. I really do not drink like I guess I used to. Working at the bar just kind of ruined me.
Yeah.
I mean, going in and just basically getting drunk almost every single day and then coming back. Like I had a bad problem, and it was probably for the better for me to get out of that scene.
Right on.
But
as a bartender early on, I used to drink when I worked, but I didn't really towards most of the end because I always wanted to be like on my game, on my game and stuff. I always wanted to be like aware. To me, it wasn't like it wasn't because I thought I had a problem. Like, because I'm sure I've overdone it several times and drink too much, but it was more of a I was trying to make as much money as I possibly could in a shift. So I always wanted to be like on point. Because man, have you ever been to a bar where the bartender was clearly drunk?
Oh yeah.
And it was like, dude, like get it together.
It takes forever.
Man.
To get anything done.
Yep. All right, what did you order?
I'm not even a bar person,
Yeah.
and I've seen that.
It's the worst, man.
It's just always kind of weird whenever like you go into a bar and like you even see when like I guess some regulars or something like that buy shots, and then they're like, oh, hey, I want to buy one for the bartender, and you see the bartender doing it. I'm like, hey, you're kind of working right now. Like,
you don't see it at like the restaurants and stuff, like the chains especially,
it's local bars.
But the local bars and stuff, man. I would tell people, man, even my bar backs, I'd be like, dude, don't get getting drunk. Like I'm not gonna. I need if I need something, I need you to like
be on
get it. Yeah. So
professionalism.
Yeah, man. So I was always kind of on that tip with when I bartended. Early on, I would here and there, but for the most part,
we're not here to judge. If you're a bartender that takes shots,
yeah, do your thing.
You're just not going to make as much money because you suck.
That's true, by the way.
Well, and that's kind of my thing now is like that's why I always go for, these higher end bourbons and things like that because, yeah, I mean obviously we could sit here all day and just smash all these, but I want to enjoy it. I want to sip. I want to enjoy it.
Yeah, this isn't something you get in like chug.
No.
Or do shots of.
Yeah,
or whatever.
That's why there's nothing wrong with those bourbons or anything. I understand like just cutting costs and things like that, but I would rather have a better product and just have 3 or 4 or something like that at in a sitting or something like that. And then,
yeah, because like I said, if someone's like, let's do a shot. If someone's just like, let's do a shot, I'm not going to do a shot of Basil Hayden's or Weller or you know what I mean. I'm going to do Jim Beam or whatever the well whiskey. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yep.
Speaking of Jim Beam, man, I've talked about this on another podcast that I did with a buddy of mine, and while you can shit on like the lower tier bourbons, I don't because I don't feel like I'm an elitist or anything.
Yeah.
But Jim Beam, what's always impressed me about companies, not just Jim Beam, even on the beer front, because a lot of craft beer lovers and microbrew lovers will shit on the like domestic beers, like it's piss water and all that. Dude, to me, every beer has its place.
Yeah, there's completely a place for it.
So, one thing that's impressive is the quality control in those companies. Like Budweiser, do you know how much Budweiser they brew at one time? It's massive amounts.
Yeah.
And it's always, I bet it's always the same. You open a Budweiser, it's going to taste like a Budweiser.
Yep.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like that's super impressive. I'm not saying it's the best beer in the world. It's not to me.
No.
Somebody it is. Somebody likes it enough. My dad would say it is. Rest in peace.
Listen, we live in the South.
So
that's the beer that people drink.
The Natty Lights and the PBRs, they totally have their place.
Oh
man.
no, for sure. Like, don't get me wrong. I love to buy a 6-pack of stouts, IPA, pale ale, whatever. That was my thing before. But like, if I'm gonna go float down the Buffalo and my goal is to have a few but not get hammered, yeah. I mean, I will gladly take a 12-pack of PBR or something like that.
Because if the river water gets in it, it's like it doesn't really affect it.
It's gonna make me just as sick. It's fine.
But back to the Jim Beam thing, same thing. And I even read some stats on their complaints department. Dude, they get out of it I forget the number, but their quality rate is so high that it's insane. They get legitimately 1 to 2 complaints a year about I got it's some guy who drinks Jim Beam religiously and it's I got a bad batch, I think, and they're then they handle it. Well, but they had that fire. Was it a fire that the Jim Beam brewery?
It was, but I don't know if it actually damaged the Jim Beam products because Jim Beam, I'm not quite sure which one lines up, but I'm pretty sure that Booker's, Basil Hayden's, all of those. Yeah. I think it may have been some of those higher
Bakers
end.
As well. If you ever had the Bakers,
and that's what's crazy is because those are the ones that are aged in barrels for 8 to 10 years.
Mm-hmm. I do know that some of their stock did get damaged or destroyed, and my point about that was if you're a master distiller, you're over that shit, you're gonna see a few batches in your lifetime, right? Dude, how devastating is that?
Yeah.
That's your life's work essentially.
Yeah.
And so that made me go dude, and I don't know how much they lost, and I'm sure they had some kind of contingency plan. And I still see Jim Beam on the shelf, so it's not like it's not like you put them out of business, but you have that moment where you're man, that's a big deal.
Yep.
And it made me feel bad because, like I said, I'm not a Jim Beam guy necessarily, but it has its place, man. Yep. Like I said, we're gonna do a shot of whiskey and whatever, sure, bring on the Jim Beam. But
go a whiskey and Coke, it'll be with a Jim Beam or a Crown Royal or whatever.
Jack and Coke's the classic,
it's actually kind of funny. I thought about doing this for you guys, but I thought about, just having all these. I've got a decanter at the house, and I thought about getting a bottle and pouring it in there and just letting you try from the decanter and go and kind of just figure out, oh, man, that's garbage, or make your own opinion on it. But, Evan Williams Black is pretty damn solid. Pour it into a decanter. Don't let, just put that out there for people if they want to make their own drinks or whatever. But not many of them would even know. They might drink that, but man, that's a $20, $30 bottle of bourbon or whatever, not a $10, Evan Williams or whatever. But
yeah, that's another thing too. A lot of it's in your head about it's the cheap stuff, so it's not good. But sometimes it's oh wait, that's not as bad as you think. So yeah.
Quality, man. Yep. Quality, consistency, key consistency.
Well, yeah, man, we had a good time. Lots of bourbon, lots of hot sauce. I think it'd be cool, man, if you can get something going on this hot sauce, man. Get it out there somehow. Maybe we could do a giveaway or something, and some kind of something. I don't know. It'd be fun.
I might have a few more at the house or anything. I'd have to check that out. I definitely know that I have plenty of that ghostberry, the blackberry ghost pepper. I know I've got plenty of that.
Got a bottle of it at my house that my roommate eats a lot. So,
are you a hot sauce guy or no?
Yeah, it just depends. Yeah. I don't fuck with Tanner shit.
None of it. None of my food or nothing.
No, I fuck with Tanner a lot, but not in that way. But hot sauces, man. He's a little sketchy on them some bitches because he likes it hot.
I'm excited to test them out.
If you like spicy things, get after Tanner.
I'm not messing with that Ghost Reaper though. I'm gonna save that for the
I think you should definitely try it.
I don't know.
Just get, if you have a toothpick, just open it, dip it in there, try it. It's enough that you're gonna understand how hot it is. It's not. It's not gonna oh no, I'm gonna die right now. But if not, just wash it down with some bourbon.
Yeah. Right on. Well, all right. We think I don't know.
Yeah, I think we covered everything.
Yeah, I think so. Well, it was awesome talking to you, man. I'm glad you came over and hung out and brought a lot of bourbon for us to try and talked about cooking and all kind of cool stuff. So.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm sure you'll be back around in the future.
I better be.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank everybody for listening. If you want to check us out on the social media, we are on Facebook, the McRADcast, on Instagram, on Twitter. I haven't really done much with the Twitter yet. And if you want to send us an email, it's stayradpodcast@gmail.com. STAYARDPODCAST@gmail.com.
He meant RAD, not ARD.
Did I say ARD? Jesus. Yeah, not the ARD podcast.
Stay Rad podcast.
StayRadPodcast@gmail.com. Send us some stuff. If you got any suggestions, anybody who wants to be a guest, shoot it over. We'll take it into consideration, and we thank you for listening. This is McCaskill telling you all to stay rad.